Hi. Sorry, I'm just happy because today I have a day off and I thought impromptu. It's not perfect, but I thought I'd show you how my home garden is doing. I was going to do one which just looks at the green stalks, and then I thought, but then that is not nice because you're ignoring all your other plants, and that's not a good thing to do. We shouldn't have favoritism when it comes to the garden. So I'm going to start off by showing you what's growing in my front garden. I feel like to start, we need to start at the gate so that you can see what it looks like to anyone who's walking into my garden. And I hope that you can appreciate. To me, it makes me smile when I walk in, but I'll show you. Okay, welcome to my south-facing garden, and this is what it looks like at the moment. The hedge is fantastic since I lowered it, and I just need to pay a gardener to come and level it nicely. That one still needs cutting back down a bit and leveling, and I will pay for that one because I'm hoping it won't be as expensive as it would have been when I still had this one to do. We have more light coming into the garden, and as you can see, it is absolutely gorgeous. My tomato alley, as I like to call it, is doing fine. Now that the weather is warming up a bit more, we're starting to get more in way of tomatoes. This is the only Brandywine I've got, but I'm hoping that now that the weather is hotter, we're going to get more of them. I've got another Brandywine here. It's got loads of flowers now, but no fruit as yet. And then we go through. This is a black tomato, and as you can see, we have fruit, and it's doing absolutely fantastic. Next to it is a honeycomb, and as I said from my previous video, I am not a fan of honeycomb, so this will be the last time I grow it, despite the fact that it's a vigorous grower, because I think this is also a honeycomb just here, and it's growing well. But Stella definitely doesn't like honeycombs. I'm using the Florida weave to hold up my tomatoes, and it seems to work well enough to allow you to grow more in way of tomatoes without having to worry about them splaying all over the place. We have some beans in here just to provide nitrogen, and in front of that we have a sweet potato. What I did is, because we're told that you can't actually grow a whole sweet potato, you have to take just the slips. But what I did is, as an experiment, excuse me whilst I pull out this grass which is trying to grow in my pot, what I did is I put in a whole sweet potato, buried it, and now I'm just waiting to see whether or not it will do anything. But unfortunately, the weather hasn't been great, and because the weather hasn't been great, it's only just starting to take off now, so we'll have to wait and see. And next to it, this is either a cauliflower or a broccoli, which I put in to see whether or not it would do okay. My logic was, underneath you've got a root plant, and then on top you've got a plant that will grow upwards, so I'm sure they can coexist. Behind, the peas are over, and I need to sort them out and take them out and get these and save them for seed for next year. And this tomato here is the Cherokee Purple. Hasn't grown as much as the Brandywine has, but it has got some flowers, so we're doing okay there. This one is a Fantasia, which is blight proof, and it's finally managed to reach the top where I can actually hold it in, because some of the plants are growing taller quicker than others. So the Florida weave I love. It's fantastic because it makes it easier to hold in everything, including the secondary branches, which I'm not taking off because I like to see a jungle by the end of summer. I like this whole place to be covered in tomatoes, and I know that I enjoy it looking like that, and so does the family. Over here, let me check what this tomato is. It has got some, oh, it's a Tigerella. Ah, hello Tigerella. Looking forward to trying these to see whether or not they're any good. And next to it, the Black Russians. These have been the best tomatoes I've actually grown. Wait till you see the other Black Russian, but this Black Russian has got fruit on it as well. In this corner here are the abandoned babies, aubergine, which was never going to grow, and a dahlia, the only one left because all the others I've given away. And this tomato plants here, I think some of them are Fantasia, and then the bull, I've forgotten the name of it, but this here definitely is a honeycomb, and the honeycombs are doing fine, but Stella doesn't like the flavor of them. In front of there we got our peppers, which have not been doing fine because they've been mullered by slugs, but I'm hoping that now that the weather is improving, they'll suddenly grow better. And I've added feed to all the pots. All the reservoirs have feed in them, so that's hopefully going to work really, really well. When we go over, excuse this rubbish, I've got mulberry tree in this pot, which I actually set up with a self-watering pot in there, and I also put beans in there. And at first they were being eaten by the slugs, but now they seem to be thriving. So that pot there is doing fine, and behind it you can actually see my pansies, which I love to bits. As we come from the gate, on the left is another bean plant, which is doing absolutely fantastic. And now that I know how to harvest it, it's really good. This looks like a dahlia, one of my dahlias, I think. And this is a Swiss chard, which I cut back, and it's still coming back, growing. And also this avocado plant died last year, and I thought it was totally and completely dead, and then as the weather's warmed up, it's come back up, so I'm leaving it in there. Next to it I have one of my saltas, which I transplanted into here because this sweet potato was doing nothing. I've got bean plant and a few bean plants, so they're doing fine. And all I do is I mulch everything with my hedge trimmings. And next to it, my ranunculus, which took absolutely forever to arrive, but now they're here and they're doing fantastic. This one is not doing too well. It's meant to be cauliflower, but it's being eaten. But I know that as long as the center remains, it will come back, so I'm not too worried. We've got another ranunculus here, which is absolutely beautiful as well, and a different color. They're not the color I expected them to be, according to the pictures I was given. They haven't come up true, but they're still doing well. This tomato is, I have no clue. It's a slip that I actually put into here, and it's doing fine. Beautiful. This was dill, which has finally given up the ghost, but I'm hoping that I'll get some seeds and then I'll be able to use them. Strawberries flowered the once and then stopped, so they didn't do too well. I've got some garlic in here which needs to come out. Oh, and it's stuck in there. Oh no, it's not. Yeah, so I actually put garlic all over the place, so I've got quite a bit of garlic. I think I've gone past 100 cloves of garlic now, because, and I've got these little bits coming up from the bottom of the garlic here. If anyone knows what they are, do let me know, because I have no clue. Below here, I like to have mini pots of surprise. Minus weeds. Oh wow, these guys are growing again. That's a surprise. Anyway, these here is a tomato I just put in here to root. It was a slip and it's doing fine, so it's going to stay in there because it's also flowering and fruiting. In here I put potato plant, and then I added hedge trimmings to it to top it up and allow the potato to grow well, because it was growing in the compost. Next to it is a nasturtium, and over there was mangetout and a tomato plant, which seems to be quite happy in there. This is my potato corner, and I think these ones here are nearly ready for harvest. I'll let them die back a little bit more and I'll be able to harvest them. This one is constantly being eaten by slugs, but I am hoping that those other leaves are helping it to grow well, because I have no other idea of what to do with it, but hopefully it will continue. And this is my other tomato plant, which is also doing well. It's flowered, and now it is just, I'm just waiting for it to die back, and then I'll know that it's ready for harvest. Over here we have my corner of spare plants, and I need to get this celtus in the ground, so I'm going to take some of it to the allotment, and then I'm also going to clear this space and put some in here and hope that it won't be overly slugged, because that is the main worry. So this will be planted out. I've got some aubergines which are not going to amount to much. I think this is broccoli or kale, which is waiting for homes. This is marigolds, which have no home, but I'll find homes for everything because they don't need to be given a chance at life. This is my water reservoir, on which I've actually put a net to stop mosquitoes. So in the bottom of it, you still have some mosquitoes that had managed to make babies in there, but now that I've got the net, you can't get any more going in there. So that is fantastic. Over here we got peas, which are growing really well and seem to want to hang on to this, despite the fact that I made them a teepee tree there. So I'm leaving them to do what they want over here. This was Swiss chard. For some reason I cannot for the life of me grow Swiss chard at home, so I tried to grow it here. It failed. Over here I have peas, which I never really harvested, and because of the cats I had to cover up this whole space. But now what I am going to do is, because I've got the nasturtiums at the front to stop the cats, I'm going to put my celtus in there. And also what I've been doing is I've been adding mulch to it, go away, in order that it covers up all the soil, so nothing is visible for the cats to think that there is something for them to come and actually poop into. It's been a huge disappointment for me, but I'll make it a flower garden. And if I put nasturtiums like this at the front, it protects the inside because the cat can't see in to see the soil. In the back, my rose has done fantastic, despite the fact that I buried it totally and completely due to adding a lot of soil to it from the base of where this planter begins to nearly the top, and the soil has sunk so much considering how it looked before, but it will do. So this all needs to come out. This is all Swiss chard, which just keeps flowering and flowering and flowering. It just keeps bolting. It's not happy here. That's my decision on that. So I won't be planting Swiss chard here, so I'll bring it down, chop it up and put it into the compost. This is one Black Russian, and it was a Black Russian that was almost dead because of the fact that it was very thin and lanky. But what I did is I put it into there and I thought, let me give it a chance. And as you can see, this plant has done fantastic. It has become a huge jungle with tomatoes, more flowers. It was quite windy yesterday, so it was falling over, but it has got plenty of fruit on it. It's doing well because of all the manure that I put in here, because it's got quite a bit of manure in there. I actually took off a slip and just chucked it into the soil there, so we shall see whether or not it grows. And in here I've got a couple of aubergines and loads of beans growing all over. Hopefully we'll have some beans from them. I think these are sugar beans, which you need to leave to actually grow and form pods and then harvest. And what I've also got are Chinese kale, so I'm waiting for these to dry so that I can actually harvest the seeds, because when I looked online I couldn't actually find any. I normally buy from Premier Seeds direct, and they haven't actually got any at the moment because they're out of stock, and there's no way I'm letting go of all of these, because Chinese kale has become one of my favorite veg, even more than Swiss chard. Come to my most favorite of planters, which is my green stalk. I love this planter. I love the fact that I can have a community of plants within it, and everything seems to be doing well. The one thing that hasn't worked well in here are strawberries. The strawberries are not happy, so I'll be taking them out once I know how I'm going to plant them and where. The marigolds are doing fantastic. I've got 2 tumbling tomatoes. One is red and the other one is yellow, and they're doing fantastic, especially since we now have warmer weather. Below here, I even decided to try a cucumber, and look, we got cucumbers coming up and it's growing fine, no problems at all. Once again, the Swiss chard is not happy in here, so I am not going to plant Swiss chard in here anymore. Geraniums are looking so pretty. I love the geraniums. You can see this tomato here actually has some fruit on it as well. And we got peas, so I decided to see whether or not I could have peas in here, and yes, I can grow them. The difficulty is in how you actually support it without the supports that come with the planter, but I managed to use some of my fencing, and we have got peas on there. This is either broccoli or a cauliflower, and they're doing fantastic. And below that, I removed some strawberries which were dead, and I've added a celtus in there. I've also put potatoes in there because you can actually grow potatoes. So I've got potatoes in about 3 of the bigger boxes, because what I did is I got the veggie one, and then I got the deeper pocketed green stalk, the original, and then I've mixed them up. So I've got 3 of the veggie sections here and then 2 of the deeper pockets. So I think in the future, if I was advising someone, I'd say go for the deeper pockets, don't go for the shallower pocket, because it gives you more options of what you can actually grow without restriction. So this is my favorite part of the garden, and it looks absolutely fantastic, and it just sparks joy every time I look at it. Moving over to here is the antirrhinum, which have now started producing seeds. So I'm going to collect the seed and give some to my mum-in-law, and then I'm also going to get some of it and probably throw it into those beds which are not doing well with anything else. In here was sage, but for some reason the sage died. It might be to do with the fact that the soil was too acidic, because I've got these little mini blueberries in here which are absolutely useless. So it's a plant I'm going to get rid of because it produces such tiny blueberries. It was not worth the money. This is some of my favorite antirrhinum colors. I've loved the white, I've loved the red, I've loved the pink. Well, I've loved everything, because even the peach is lovely. So all these are seeds to be harvested, and I'll probably do it this weekend. Behind it, we've got honeycomb, which has been providing harvests, and it's doing fine. As you can see, my mum-in-law loves it. I haven't been impressed by it, and it is going all the way up. And next to it is a rosella, which has also been providing harvests. The fruit is not that big, despite the fact that I have fed these plants. They're still not producing big fruit, and for me they don't taste as good either. So I definitely will not be growing them again. I'll go back to my well-known, tried and tested Sun Gold, because I love the Sun Gold, and then I'll try other tomatoes if all the others I've grown are also not as good. Next to the antirrhinum, I have this planter in which I have, I don't even know which tomato this is, but it's another slip, tomato slip, which I've put in here. And I've also put a cucumber plant in here, hoping that it will grow okay. So we shall wait and see. The one in the green stock is doing much better, despite the fact that they're both around the same age. But the green stock one is doing a lot better. So we shall wait and see whether this will amount to anything at all. Then we move to another community of plants with my favorite plant, which is the, what's it called now? I've forgotten the name. If I remember it, I'll let you know. But I loved it last year, and that's why I bought a plant. I bought one pot, but it had 2 plants in it, and so that is what I've got. And I've got to put another plant. I need to hold it up with another one of these because it's leaning that way, which I don't want it to, because then when the tomatoes are ripe, they'll be eaten by the slugs. So I need to pull it back in. This one is doing fine. And look, look at him in there. Hello. So this nasturtium has been fantastic, and it has actually been feeding the bees for ages. I cut it off the ground because it was helping slugs to climb into here, and things are doing absolutely beautiful. Over here we got pepper plants, either pepper or chili plants, but I do not remember which. These ones seem to be doing better than the ones in the other quad grows. I have no idea why. And we've even got some fruit on here, and I don't know what type of chili I grew in here, so I couldn't even tell you. But it's doing fine. And I've just noticed something. Have a look over here. This is my compost, which I added to my mulberry bush, and we've got a tomato that's decided to grow out the side of one of the holes. As they do. So I need to sort these out, and I'll get it done 15 minutes at a time. But as you can see, the weather every time I'm off goes from happy to sad. So it's gone all cloudy now, but we cannot complain because everything looks so pretty, despite the fact that the weather's not been good. We got a little bit of happiness from all the color that we have in the garden. And over here I created a little center of flowers. I don't know why this always I've just seen a slug which is sat right in the middle of my pansies, which is why they're not doing as well as they were doing before. You literally have to raise everything off the ground, otherwise these animals just come and take what's yours. You see in there, look at it, comfortably sat in there. I know that this is on the ground and therefore it's not a surprise that it's being eaten, but it's unacceptable. So I'll need to sort that one out. Oh my gosh, look at that. They seem to think that this is their party. And next to it I put my Valentine's dahlia, which was given to me as a Valentine present, with the hope that it would survive. But I'm not sure it will survive with these lot here. So I'm going to have to make sure that I move it during the night and only put it out during the day when the slugs are not here. Because I can actually see that over here there's a wetness that suggests that Mr. Sluggy has been here. So we need to do something about that. But I'll do it later. I've got some cosmos over here, which has been doing well. And I've got another dahlia here, which has actually been doing fantastic. And has got very, very pretty flowers, as they all do, dahlias. And they start off a dark pink, and then they go a light pink, and then they go into a yellow. And they look absolutely fantastic. And so that is what my garden looks like. my south-facing garden. I'll have to show you my back garden another day because the weather looks like it's going to be nasty in a minute. So I need to just leave it for now. But I think I'm content. Very content.